Hey guys, welcome to Torchtales, Stories Behind the Hood. I'm your host, Frank Vargas, aka Traveling Frankie. And if I have to tell you who this is, then you haven't been in the industry that long or you're just not in the industry. But I'm still going to let you know who he is. Jim Herring with SafTcart. Jim,
Yes.
thank you so much for saying yes to this thing that you had no
My
clue,
pleasure.
and you still have no clue what it is. But he's going to figure this out as we go. Jim, what I tell all my guests is, first of all, this is about the welding industry, about you guys, the ones that
Okay.
have paved and are still showing this version of us, these young people. Hey, I just call myself young because I can, maybe can. But first of all, I want to say thank you for many things. For being so many years in the industry, for teaching a lot of us how to portray, how to act in this industry. And I'll tell you guys later why I think and why I'm saying what I'm saying. Jim, you're with SafTcart. And how long have you been with SafTcart?
25 and a half years.
25 and a half.
Yep.
All right, great. So that sets the base for what we are doing here. Now let's go back to Jim the kid. Where is Jim from?
Well, Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
And that's where I grew up. And I don't know, went to Clinton High School, went to Millsaps College.
Okay, so what kind of student was Jim? Like a decent, regular, just pass by? What were you into back then?
You know, believe it or not, I guess I was more geek than I thought that I was. I mean,
Really?
I did all these different things, but I was a pretty decent student.
Oh yeah? Like A and B's or B and C's?
Yeah, I did graduate with an A average.
All right, hey,
For both,
don't be
so,
shy. Hey, let
yeah.
people know how smart you are.
I wouldn't go that far, but but no, I was pretty studious, and I
Really?
worked at it.
And what about your parents? Where they're from?
Yeah, my parents' mom was from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Okay.
She was Miss Tupelo High, and then she went to Belhaven College. She was a beauty there, and then she was a fashion model.
Huh.
And then Dad was
He had the looks too?
well, he went to Mississippi College and he boxed.
Oh, okay.
And when he and Mom met, they were on, I don't know, blind dates with other people. He
Really?
didn't really care for the other people they were with, so Mom and Dad started dating.
Huh.
And
So one
anyway.
of those that actually worked and
it
backwards,
worked.
but
Yep.
it worked, right?
Yep, that worked, and they were married for 51 years.
Wow. The things that you don't see nowadays, right?
Yeah, and that's the truth.
But congratulations to your parents and even the family that now you are part of. And we'll touch on that. Now, as you are high school, now you're in college. While you were in college, what were you studying? What was the thing that kind of piqued your interest back then?
Well, you got to realize that I didn't finish college the first time. I
Okay.
took a job
Okay.
and worked at one company. Then I tried another company.
What
It was
what
UPS.
company was? So I do know that. I know a little bit of you about you. So I know about UPS and we'll. But what was that first job you had?
Worked for Brunswick Corporation.
Okay, all right. And then,
Then I went to work at UPS.
how did you start at UPS? Because I know that one you hold very dear to your heart because you spent a lot of time there. And so, how did
did.
UPS come about?
UPS, I kind of fell into that because I had intentions of going back to school
Okay.
and finishing what I had started, and they hired me as seasonal.
Okay.
I was just a driver from, oh God,
Like
this
like
was
Christmas season, summer season,
That's
like
it.
right packages.
Christmas because
over-
that's when the peak comes in.
Gotcha.
So I started in September of 1981.
Oh, you remember month and year?
Oh yeah, and December 24th.
it must have been good.
Yeah, December 24th, 1981, they laid me and the rest of the
Seasonal,
part-time,
yeah.
you know, the seasonal guys off. The funny thing is, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, it snowed in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
We don't get a lot of snow in Jackson, but it snowed. I got a call. They said, Jim, we need you. I said, but I thought that I had to go through orientation. No, you know that stuff.
Yeah.
So I went in and I was there for 16 and a half years.
16 and a half years. And I want you to share with us, because you are somewhat of a superstar, or you were a
Yeah.
superstar in UPS, because you have some sort of record
Well, I was fast at one time, but
at one time.
I had a good route. It was a lot of residential, so we thought that we would just go for a national record.
Okay.
You know, it was just a big deal and kind of a bragging type of,
Of course.
thing for our center.
I would.
And we got it, 707 stops. Well, lo and behold, the next year, some boys up in Michigan beat it.
Really?
1,007.
1,007?
1,007 stops. So the next year, we went for broke because I get a helper, you know, a jumper. And we just kind of laid it out and said, all right, here's what I want you to do. Have the first truck here, have the second truck here, have the third truck here, and have the fourth truck here. So we started delivering about 6:15 one morning.
Okay.
This was December the 19th, 1986. I won't forget that anytime soon. And
This guy is good with dates. Yeah.
and by the time we finished, it was 1,066 stops, 1,291 packages, and 77.8 stops an hour. So that was all.
Those
are all 3 records.
Which is, I heard.
At least one of them still current.
Okay.
And that was in 14 3/4 hours. Because 15 was the limit. You better not go over 15 hours.
Okay, gotcha. So for the record to count, you had that 15 hours under.
Yep.
To make sure
we
that
did
you
it. And we thought that was the peak day. The kicker was the next day was actually the peak day. And they hit me again with another, just in a little small confined area, 550 stops. And I thought, holy cow, I'm dead. We were worn out. And it took all day to.
Right, of course.
But we made it through it.
That's amazing, especially because most people nowadays they can't wait to go home, and you're lucky if they put 25% of the effort. So kudos to you, and I hope that record still holds for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
Because it is bragging rights, and I would tell that story to anyone, even if they don't want to listen to it. Right? That would be me. That's me. Now, 16 and a half years.
Right.
UPS. What came next? Was a SafTcart?
Well, yeah, but here's the way it worked. Melinda and I got married in 1988.
Okay, so hold on. You guys, by now you guys know this, because I'll interrupt my guest, because they'll say something, and then I need to jump into that question, and then we'll get back to the original one. You know the deal. Melinda, so that means that you already knew her, because you met her while delivering packages, right?
She was fresh out of Mississippi State.
Correct. And who is Belinda, by the way?
Melinda is my wife, Belinda Walker.
Correct, which she is part of the family.
Yes, the Walker family.
SafTcart.
SafTcart, yep.
Gotcha, okay. I just want to tie the whole thing together.
Yep.
So you met her how?
I walked in her apartment complex. She had just taken a job as the manager, and she was there for a while. But anyway, I knew her, and very kind person. I really liked her.
Who doesn't like this person? And I'll say something later, but yeah.
Anyway, that was 1986, 87.
Okay.
And so she took another job downtown Jackson, so I didn't see her for a while.
So she was not working for the family business?
No.
Okay.
Jackson was far, it was 2.5 hours south of the family business up in Clarksdale.
Okay. And I'm sorry, but how old is SafTcart?
Well, SafTcart was incorporated in 1986.
In 86. Got it. Okay.
And it was an outgrowth of Walker Welders.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, in 1988, Melinda and I got married. And gosh, it was 97. My father-in-law sold all the Walker Welders. He had about 8 different locations.
Okay.
He also sold my brothers-in-law with the business because that was part of the deal. He sold it to Holocks. And they were, they were part of that management team in North Mississippi.
Okay.
So he came to Jackson, and he and I went to my bedroom. My mother-in-law and my wife don't know anything that's going on. So we go back there, and he said, Jim, I need some help. And he told me what he had done. So in February of 98, I said, let me think about it.
Okay.
So I took 5 weeks of vacation, went up there and to Clarksdale, and I stayed.
So at that moment, when you took 5 weeks, it was to kind of check things out, or it was in your mind, it was like, well, I'm going to go help for a little bit.
I'm going to go try it out, yeah.
And okay, so you didn't want to burn that bridge with UPS just in case things didn't work out.
Well, UPS is good to me.
Correct, right.
So
so you had a backup plan just in case.
I did.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, I don't want to be bored. He said, I don't think you will be. So
okay.
Anyway, he had
So,
just
so how did you? What was your position back then when you started? What were you doing?
he made sure that I knew how to do everything, shipping. I had to learn everything, and then we had a plant manager at the time. We had just moved into another facility because the original facility was a school building that had been converted.
Okay.
It was abandoned. They took the walls out, put a conveyor in there. I had
Gotcha.
about a handful of employees, and outgrew it because he would put carts in his truck and go around and visit distributors,
Correct.
similar to what we
Pretty
still
much
do.
it. Yeah. Some things don't change.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. And anyway, moved into this new facility. It was a much larger place, and the joke was that, man, this place is so big, we're gonna have to rent out part of it.
Yeah, sure.
We added on 5 times, and the flow of material was not very good because the steel was received here, it was bent over here and formed, and then the welders were
Gotcha.
over
So there was
here.
no flow, lean
wasn't great.
manufacturing. Yeah.
Right. So around the corner was a facility that had been a mobile home manufacturer built in the mid-'60s.
Okay.
It had been several different mobile home companies. Every one of those hadn't done very well.
Gotcha.
And, you know, this is a story I tell all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
My father-in-law's superstitious. So
Okay.
we had our priest come in there, and he blessed the building.
Really?
And that seemed to take care of my father-in-law.
Yeah, ease his mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jimmy and I started moving things at night. Right after Thanksgiving of 2005, it took us 6 months to get everything moved into this building. And it was just around the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
right?
a quarter of a mile. But it was a monstrous undertaking, and I pray I never have to do that again. That was tough. But we got everything up there, and we laid it out, and things started working, and business grew.
Correct, yes.
And then it kept growing, and we took on more distributors and
Correct.
more, large companies. And our truck bed and trailer business started growing. And that's been phenomenal.
Yes.
It's done so well, so we're
You
pleased.
guys, and we'll touch a little bit on the personalities and the people that work for SafTcart. Now, did Melinda at some point also came to work for the company? Does she still work for the company? How's the dynamic with the daughter and your now wife?
She came back to Clarksdale kicking and screaming. She told me, she said, I work
Because she didn't know about that meeting you guys
didn't
were
know
having,
about
and
it,
then
and
after
then
that's like, hey, by the way.
Yeah, we came out and we told my mother-in-law and my wife, and she was not happy.
Sorry, I wish you were here because you were going to be part of this interview, but I might talk to you eventually then on your own or together again.
But God bless her, just, she always was supportive.
Yes.
And a part of all this, I had gone back to school at night.
Okay.
At UPS the last 6 years. And that's how I finished my degree.
Got it.
And I had planned to make some major moves with UPS because that's what they wanted me to do.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden we had the strike in '97, and I got the job offer from my father-in-law, and I've been there ever since.
Wow, so now you've been there 27 years.
Well, 25 and a half, actually.
Okay, all right, so 25 and a half. Now, 25 years ago, how many people did SafTcart have? 10, 12, 6?
No, probably 30.
Okay.
30-ish.
All right. So that was a decent size to begin with.
Not bad.
Now, how many family members, and I know a few, work for the company?
At one time, it was just Lisa, which is Melinda's older sister, and me.
All right.
And that was it. And then Jimmy came on board because, my father-in-law basically turned the ownership of the company to the 5 children.
Gotcha.
Which is Lisa, Melinda, Jimmy, Charlie, and Mary Ann.
Okay.
So they owned it, and he backed out, but he still is there.
Very involved.
Every day.
Yes. Yep.
And inventing and doing what he does best. He's good at it.
Yeah.
And he loves to come to conventions.
Yep.
He would have come to this one, but that 8-hour flight,
Yeah, it's a killer. Because by the way, we are in Hawaii. This is probably our last day here in the island after the GATA annual convention. That was a huge success. And kudos to the whole organization because they put an amazing event. And Jim being part of a safety committee and all that, and you guys, everyone involved, really puts out an amazing show, and it takes a village. So 25 and a half years. Well, let's go back to the personal
Okay.
a little bit. You guys been married for almost the same amount of years.
Well, actually, 35 years.
Oh, that's right, because it was before.
I was
yeah.
still at UPS
Yes.
while we were married.
Yes,
So
35 years. You guys have kids?
we do.
How many?
2, and we have Paige is now 32.
Okay.
Lives in the middle of Pennsylvania with my grandchildren, and our son-in-law was deployed. He just made it back.
Oh, good.
Thank goodness. So
Good. Right.
so I
that's a
don't have
good
to lose my wife months at a time to go to Pennsylvania to help our daughter.
Good. Good.
And Connor is Connor, after so many years at Mississippi State, he finally got a degree,
Okay.
multiple disciplines, and I said, "Well, Connor, what are you going to do?" He said, "Well, Dad, I guess I could teach school." I said, "No, I think you can go to work for us." So Connor's doing ads. He writes our newsletter, and he does our ISO, because I'm turning some of that pain in the neck stuff over to him.
Yeah.
And just like I got a call at 5 o'clock this morning that we'd had an accident. They called me and said, "Jim, what do we do?" I said, "Well, you get Connor to do the investigation,
Correct,
fill
yeah.
the report, pictures, send it all to me, and I will get it to the proper
The next, yeah.
insurance people and take care of it." So that's what he did.
Good. I mean, so again, more family keep coming in,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that's awesome, because I mean, I believe, and this is me looking from the outside looking in, part of you guys' success is not only the kind of people that you guys are, but also having people that are going to care for that next person, because they don't want to let somebody else down, because it's my family, it's my dad, it's my cousin, it's my brother. So that adds a lot to a company. Now, the dynamics. What's your title with the company?
Executive son-in-law is what I've always told people, but executive vice president is COO.
Okay.
So I guess I'm the one that does those things that no one else wants to do. They fill out those horrible government reports.
All those signatures and all that stuff. Yeah.
And they talk to to OSHA, or they talk to the IRS
Gotcha.
to straighten things out, which
Okay.
I seem to have a knack for that.
Hey,
I know what
I-
I'm supposed to do it, so I get it.
There you go, and I can see that happening. How many employees does SafTcart has now?
All right, we have 2 locations now because we own a facility in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, where we're doing a lot of manifolding.
Okay.
And it was an outgrowth of a company, National Welders. And this gentleman started this company, and now they're brazing our pigtails and manifold systems, and those are being sent to Clarksdale, along with everything, the passivation, the other things that they
Yeah.
do up there. So all told, probably got 18 up there, probably about 120.
Huh, decent
still
size
growing.
operation. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Now, let's say that I'm a new distributor. I got into some money. I'm just crazy enough that I want to get into the business and open a distributor. And of course, I want to carry everything that makes sense that
Right.
I should.
Right.
And someone comes in and tells me, hey, you should have this, and that. And also, hey, what about your manifolds, pigtails, or carts, or whatever? They mention SafTcart. But I have no clue because I'm new at this.
Right.
And you have 45 seconds to sell me on what SafTcart does and why should I go with SafTcart. Give me the 45-second brochure on what you guys do.
Well, we're a U.S. manufacturer. Everything is built in Clarkston, Mississippi.
Okay.
We ship all over the country, Canada, Latin America, and beyond through international partnerships. And we help you with your solution. We help you move cylinders, store cylinders, deliver cylinders, and that's all we do.
Really? And do you guys help with some installation in place, with, setting up someone's shop with whatever he needs to make all these processes flow?
If we are asked to do that, then we're happy to
Yeah.
help out.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I know you travel a lot, and most people know you and your wife. Well, we all know the whole family, right? You guys are that kind of family where everyone is always excited to see you guys. And I'm gonna share my short story really quick. 12 years in, representing the company I work for, out there as a sales guy for the last 7 years or so. But in the industry, Jim, there's people that you always gravitate towards, and there's people that you can't wait to shake a hand because of many different reasons. You and your wife, you guys are one of those people that I've paid people to get some dirt on these two. I can't. I've lost so much money. There's not a single person I've talked to that doesn't say amazing things about you and your wife. And all it takes is 5 minutes around you guys to know that you guys are just great, amazing people. And one of the examples I'll give you, we are in a circle of people in the industry, in an event, conference, you name it. And Jim and his wife are there, and whoever's there that comes into the circle, within 30, 45 seconds, you are introducing those people to them. Hey, by the way, you know Frank, or hey, by the way, you know such and such. And you guys have such a loving way of treating people around you, and everyone wants to be around you and see you guys and hug you and shake your hand for the kind of human being that you guys are. And I thank you because of people like me that are so young into the industry. You guys made it very comfortable, and I think you guys have this special magic about you guys. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. If I have any magic, it's because of my wife.
Well,
but
I don't care why or how, it works.
well, the way we view it,
Yeah.
and I think Gary Halter said it better than anyone. He said, I have more good friends in this room than I do in my hometown.
That is true.
That's the way I feel. Clarksdale's not a very big town, and we
Yeah.
know a lot of people.
Yeah.
But we have more close friends in this industry than we do in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and that's the truth. And we get together, and darn it, it's like a family reunion.
It is.
And you can't wait to see these people.
It is. I was just talking to Clinton and Brady Bush because I was having their conversation with them yesterday, and I asked him the same question. Hey, so are you finding that most of your friends now are friends in the industry, and when you look at your outside circle from before or after, it's kind of like less and less of that and more of what the industry they're in is like? Yep, that's exactly how it works.
Yeah.
Because only 12 years in, it's exactly what's happening to me. I'm like, whoa, geez, where are all the other, like, everyone is here. And that's a great feeling.
Well, I can tell you this, and I've seen people leave this industry, but they don't stay gone long. They come right back.
Correct.
And once you're in,
It's hard to leave.
you're in.
Yep, it's hard.
It's I don't know if it's a fraternity. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's more family than it is anything else. But it's great people. They're all started out like my mother-in-law and father-in-law.
Yeah.
And there's I guess everybody understands one another. And I think Marilyn Dempsey, who's one of the wonderful consultants that GATA has, she said that someone came up to her and she said, I go around to do a lot of these conventions all over the country. He said, this is the first one that I've ever seen people say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Really?
Sing the national anthem. Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
That is. In this day and time.
Weird and interesting. I mean, in a good way. But it's just weird that nobody else is kind of doing
He was
this.
so impressed with it. He said, I love getting around you people.
That's awesome.
That
That's good
says
to hear.
a lot.
Of course it does.
But again, it's the welding industry, so that
Hey,
speaks volumes.
it does. It does. Now that you mentioned GATA and the committees and all that, how long have you personally been part of GATA at the committee level?
Oh, at the committee level, probably 17 years.
Really? And what committee are you part of?
Safety.
And did they pick you or you picked that committee?
I picked it a long time ago because I thought it would make sense because of the questions that I'm asked day in, day out. And I've learned a lot from back in the Friendly days where they would fly the safety committee to Philadelphia. We would meet once a year, have dinner, and discuss the next steps.
Correct.
And then things changed as we became autonomous, as GATA is today with John and Natasha
Correct,
and
yeah.
Bruce and everyone running things, and it's so much better.
Yeah.
Honest to God, it's unbelievable what some companies will do to you, because I don't think that the other folks were particularly fair with the Gauda members. And now things
Yeah, I've
are
heard
much
that.
better.
I've heard that before too, and I'm glad that it
Yeah.
is where it is now, because that crew, it's doing an amazing job.
Yes, they are.
And
they're good people.
and they are good people.
Yes.
Kudos to everyone of the Gata
Yep.
back home. My neighbors, just 10 minutes away from where I'm at. Yep. When you started 26 years ago versus now, putting people aside and the problems of finding good people nowadays. We all know that problem. It's there. It is what it is. Let's see what happens. But let's take that one out.
Okay.
What's the biggest change you probably have seen in the industry throughout the 25 years, whether it's technology, whether it's inventory, whether it's access to things? Like, what would you say that is?
That's a good question. Finding good people.
Yeah.
And that's gotten to be a bigger and bigger problem, because, the standing joke is, you'll hire a millennial, and then a week later they'll take a job down the street for $1 an hour more.
Correct.
So there's no depth of character
No, not anymore.
with the new folks. And we're lucky at our company, because the core folks that work for us have been there. Some have
Yeah.
been there longer than I have.
Yeah.
And another thing that we do is we take care of our employees, because they take care of us.
Well, that is a big part of making sure that you have that talent. Not only is attracting them to come in through the door the first day, but it's to make sure that they stay. You got to go beyond just like, here's a paycheck. You got to treat people good, like
You
decent
treat them
human
like you
beings.
want to be treated.
Correct. Yep.
And that's my father-in-law's like that, and it just kind of trickles down.
Of course.
Because it starts at the head, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've always been raised.
Yeah. No, that's and we all know that from them, and it is by the book, and it's amazing. How much travel do you do a year?
Usually, we make most of the Gauda regionals.
Correct.
And then while we're out there, you go around and you see folks.
Correct.
And now that I have a daughter that lives in the middle of Pennsylvania, yeah, we're making more and more trips up in that direction.
Right, because
But
you guys get on the truck and drive. You
we
and
do.
Belinda, do you?
We do.
Because was it last year or 2 years ago that you guys were showing off the truck, and you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
pretty much a brand new truck that you guys had done, and you guys were doing the whole circus tour
We
around.
did a pretty good job of it.
Right.
And the thing about it, there were times we were on the road 3 weeks at a time. We'd find a stopping point on the weekend so we
Yeah.
could get our clothes cleaned and
Of course.
and enjoy the area. And then Monday morning,
Back on the road.
back at it, because Melinda's my navigator. She said, "No, Jim, we need to go here first because it's closer, and then we can go here, and then
Wow.
along the way you get here."
Now,
So,
do you actually? I like traveling. I
Yeah.
like meeting people. I like seeing new things. I like taking pictures. I like I love every time I'm in a new place. I'm like a little kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I've never been here, and so on. Do you still get excited about when you travel and you get to a new place, or is it like, kind of looks like the other place?
actually, I rather enjoy it.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about traveling to Europe or traveling
Yeah,
to
correct.
other continents and what have you.
Which is
But
nice.
it is, but there's so
But we
much
have
to
everything
see
here, too.
I still want to go to the Black Hills in South Dakota.
And you haven't? Okay.
Or make it to a few other states.
yeah.
Or Alaska.
That's-
Melinda knows that's on my bucket list.
Really?
Hadn't made it there yet, but I'm working my way
Hey,
in that direction.
I'll drive. Just saying. Just saying. I'll stay in another hotel. I'll give you your privacy. I'll drive. I just want to tag along and see it because I haven't either.
Yep.
That is pretty cool. So how many states have you been?
Oh gosh, I have no idea.
Yeah, but
I've never
almost-
stopped. But probably 25, 30,
Yeah,
maybe more.
yeah. That's awesome.
Maybe more than that. I don't know. I've
Now,
never stopped at that.
I also hear that you're a very that you are very into, not because I know or I've been there before, but you're very into wines and bourbons.
You're right.
Was that always your thing, or your taste buds developed more into, hey, I dig this now. How did that? Which one started first, and or was it kind of both at the same time in your?
This is going to sound terrible because I've never really been a big beer drinker. That yeast just blows you up
Yeah,
like a
correct.
balloon. So, yeah,
Even though I always look bloated, I know.
I don't need beer. But going to Ole Miss games, growing up, my friends and I would sneak Jack Daniels in there.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, we all had a taste for that.
Gotcha.
But I guess that's where it started. But then, red wine, good red wine, is just that. It's good.
Well,
And-
it's in the name. Good red wine.
Yeah. You don't want the bad stuff.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess they all kind of came about at the same time. And then, the more you see how they promote the bourbons, and then
Of
you
course.
start doing bourbon tastings. And then we had a house in Nashville because, living in Clarkston, Mississippi, our school system was not perfect.
Okay.
And Melinda was bent on having our children have decent education.
Gotcha.
So we had a house in Clarksdale, and then we had a house in Nashville, and I'd go back and forth.
Yeah.
And
And in between,
Yeah, and Paige and Connor. Paige went to an all-girls Catholic school, and Connor went to Father Ryan, and they got good educations.
Good.
Now, what they did with them after that, I don't know.
Hey, you can
They did
only
go-
guide them to the water hole,
That's all you
right?
can do.
After that, it is what it is.
The Walker family, they're all Mississippi State graduates, so
Yeah.
my children went there also.
Okay.
And Melinda graduated Mississippi State.
Good.
So,
Nice
yeah,
tradition.
love them all.
Yeah.
I'm an Ole Miss rebel. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm not changing that.
Can be perfect.
But I don't know, when you go to these nice dinners and you have good wine,
You
and then
start
maybe toward the
developing
end
that taste
you
bud,
do.
huh?
But in Nashville, because I was raised Methodist, and then after being married to Melinda for so many years, I said, okay, I'll join. So I became Catholic. Then I learned that Catholics can go to Mass on Saturday night, the Saturday Vigil. So I thought, man, that's great. Sleep in on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that.
Just that alone, that's
But,
a great perk.
But as we would go to church or go to Mass on Saturday night, there's a place called Red's, which was an emporium of wine and bourbon and stuff like that. So
Okay. I see where
after
this
church,
is going.
we would go by and they'd have a wine tasting.
Really?
So we'd take part of that,
Gotcha.
and then come home with a few extra bottles
Of
of
course.
this, and then of course maybe pick up a bourbon bottle here and there, and then of course you see the 15 bourbons you should own. So I started collecting them, and I'm still collecting.
Yeah, I'm sure I can't even touch your collection. So one of the things that I do throughout my travels, it's I look for local distilleries.
Right.
Especially the non-big names. I love to support the small companies, the small mom and pops, right? So I usually, once I'm done with work, hey, closest distillery, and I go check them out. Most of them start with rum and vodka because that's the first thing that they can distill till they get 5 years on, and they can start doing bourbons and all that. But so I started buying a bottle here, a bottle there. I have maybe 20 different things that usually you don't find at the regular liquor store.
Yep.
Now, most of my bottles are, in fact, unopened because I travel so much I don't have time to even drink the damn thing. But eventually I will. So everyone, if they have a cork, I'm putting it upside down so it's moist and seals and all that. So
yeah, you want to do that.
yeah, things you learn, just like when you were 14, 15, because, we got so much knowledge, right? It's pretty cool. And in fact, so today after this, we're actually going to go to a nice dinner.
Yes.
We're going to go to this place called Mama's Fish House here in the, what would that be? The east?
North Shore. No, they call it the North Shore.
North Shore of where we are. And where the hell are we again?
We're in Walea,
Okay.
which is, as I understand it, we're on the desert side of the island. So one side is a rainforest. It gets 400 inches of rain a year.
Huh.
And this side gets about 10.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See,
And
the
you drive
stuff
along.
you learn when you hang around smart people. Yeah.
You drive along and you see how brown everything is.
That is true.
Holy cow. I remember the first time we came here,
Yep.
I wondered, what the heck's going
That
on?
did surprise me.
Did somebody spray it or what?
I agree with you. When I was flying in, first time being in these parts of the world, and I'm like, I thought it was gonna be more lush, more wet
I know.
green, and then I'm like, that's very desert-like.
Yeah.
So that surprised me a lot, actually.
Until you get to here and it's irrigated, because even though it's the same island,
Yeah.
and one side only gets 10 inches of rain a year, they share the same aquifer. So if it's irrigated, it's green.
Gotcha.
If
I
it's
see.
not,
I see.
it looks like the brown.
How it
Yeah,
looks. Yeah.
it looks terrible.
Wow. Well, so like I was saying, we're gonna go to this amazing restaurant. It's called Mama's Fish House, and everyone, that's the one place that everyone talks about
Yeah,
when
it
you're
is.
here. So we are lucky enough that we're gonna go. But I have a surprise for Jim because I bought this very nice cheers before the dinner tequila bottle that I have. It's a nice añejo tequila, and we're gonna cheers right before we go into dinner on the water on the other side. Just because when in Rome, water, ocean, tequila,
Just
anything
set the
matches.
stage for the rest.
Set the stage for the rest of the night. Now, we're wrapping up here, Jim, and I thank you again. Where would you like to see the industry from what you see now in 5, 10 years?
Well,
Regardless of you're still in it, if you're not in it, it doesn't matter. Where would you like to see the industry as a whole?
well, I hope it continues to grow.
Okay.
As long as the people that I see at these functions remain and they bring their children into it. You know, we've got the third generation in our
Committed,
business. About four of Mr. Walker's grandchildren. And they're doing a great job, too.
Awesome.
And, you know, I hope it continues to grow because it's a wonderful industry.
It is.
Full of wonderful people. And I never thought that I would enjoy what I've enjoyed the past 25 plus years.
Right.
But I really have, and I intend to stick around as long as they'll keep me.
Hey.
I still like doing what I do.
Hey.
I still like coming to these things and seeing everybody.
If you're able, if you're physically able, if your mind lets you, I mean, age is just a number. I mean, what I have an issue is when anyone at any age is just riding that wave of like very minimal doing just because. Like that's just, hey, work hard, play hard. I have no issues with you. It's all good. Jim, I want to thank you once again for saying yes to this, whatever this is.
My pleasure.
But again, like I told you before, this is even secondary. The thank you really is for who you are, for who your wife is, and for how you guys have always treated me from day one. I couldn't ask for a better feeling when I'm around you guys and the way you guys interact with everyone. And like I said, I've tried very hard to find anyone to say anything bad about you guys, but I'm gonna keep trying. I swear to you guys, I'm gonna keep trying. Even if something like they don't water their plants, something. I just want to hear something. Thank you again, brother.
Well, thank you.
It really means a lot for you to be here, and I hope that we have many, many, many other shows and many, many years left in this thing.
Yep.
Anything else you would like to say?
Nope, just it's kind of tough hiring millennials, but we're going to get there. We're going to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
And, you know, once we get them over that initial
Hump.
You know, get them in there and let them understand what goes on in the industry and let them see some of these things because, you know, somebody brought their nephew.
Correct.
And we introduced him to people.
Yep.
And you know what? We might have him come into this side.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
Bring them in.
That's all it takes.
Let them see everybody.
But that's what we have to do.
Yep.
You know, we have to open the door, make them feel welcome. And hey, look, you can be part of this. Not even because of the pay, but if you are looking for a industry that you can build relationships, that you can make friends for life, that you can make a very decent living at it, that you can learn something that the whole world needs. Hey, this is it. So come in, open doors. We're here. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for my guest, Jim. And I hope you guys learned something about another avenue that you guys can come into the industry and still call yourself, hey, I'm in the welding industry. This is what the show is all about. And if they keep saying yes, who am I to say no? Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Aloha.